Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to my cabin down by the creek. So I wanted to do this update video. If any of you are wondering what happened to Sage Wanderer, why he hasn't produced a video in nearly 2 weeks, well, a big part of that is a 7-day suspension from YouTube. So if you've been wondering where I'm at, I have been in YouTube jail for the past 7 days for a video that I made 5 years ago on the, let's say the Fedopile in Hollyweird. So hopefully I won't get a second strike from this video for just saying that. But that was the similar name of the video, but not in code. And I don't know if it was the title of the video or the content. They don't give you much details, but they called it harassment. Hit me with a strike, which resulted in a 7-day suspension, which has never happened to me before. It was always second strikes give you 7 days, and now they've changed the rules. First strike is 7 days, second strike is 14 days, third strike and you're out. They permanently delete your channel. Let's hope that never happens here. But if it does, I want you to know that I am in the process of setting up an alternate platform. So this was a wake-up call for me. Now, this could have been very disastrous if it hadn't been for my regular tithers who maybe intuitively knew what was going on. And they kept sending in my offerings even though I wasn't producing content. So thank you to my regular tithers and to one particular donor who you know who you are. It was a significant gift, and I sent you a thank you note over that one because it was very much needed at a very uncertain time for me. And so without further ado, let me tell you about the events of the last 2 weeks, because in some odd way they're all related. And of course, as usual, I blame it on the devil, and his army of demons. So this all starts with life going on as normal for me. I've been getting just enough finances to where that was not a big concern for me. I've had some tight spots over the last month or two, but all in all, I've been making bills. And so things were going quite well for me. I was in great spirits. I was producing regularly and consistently for some time now. And then I got contacted by a viewer. And God immediately spoke to me and says, you need to meet with this person. So I met with one of my viewers. This viewer told me a story that I believe to be just as credible and crazy sounding as the story that was told to me in the MK Ultra video, the MK Ultra trainer video I did. It's my #1 most viral video with over 800,000 views. That the story I received from a viewer was on par with and comparable to that story, but it was all about Hollyweird. It was all about certain celebrities who I will not name, who are involved in some seriously twisted stuff. And this was a story that dated back to 1983. I won't get into details on this platform and tell that story, but as I set up an alternate method for communicating with you on a different platform, if there's freedom there, I will tell this story eventually. But I was contemplating it, just dropping it on YouTube in code. And, there was a guy named Walter Winchell. He did a gossip column on on Hollywood back in the day, back in the golden era of Hollywood. And he would tell all their secrets for the most part, but change the names. So he was kind of a source for who was sleeping with who. The early version of the National Enquirer before it twisted off into Bat Baby Land. But yeah, Walter Winchell would talk in code. So I thought about talking in code about some of these individuals and telling the story on YouTube. And I was kind of kicking that around in the 2 or 3 days following that interview or that confession that was given to me by a viewer in person. So I was able to read this person. I found them to be very credible and their story to be in line with other things I've heard. But I never got that chance. This is either the algorithm listening to me, or it's the demonic communicating with other demons. But out of the clear blue sky, I received this 7-day suspension for a video I did 5 years ago. And it also has to do with the fact that this topic right now, and for the past few years, has been a pretty hot topic, and it's getting more and more politically dangerous to talk about it, especially on these platforms. And so here I was contemplating this when I received this strike for a video on the similar topic. And from 5 years ago, they had to dig deep to find that one. I've got over 1,200 videos uploaded on this channel. And so that took a deep dive to find one of those from way back. But they found it nonetheless, described it as harassment, and hit me with the 7-day suspension. Now, that's just the beginning of things. That was round one. Round two was my good knee. A lot of you know I have a torn meniscus disc on one of my knees, and it's healed. It's healed, and I'm actually in better shape than other people my age who had the surgery 11, 12 years ago. And so I am healed. If you hear any noise, it's Bully. He's scratching to get in. I should have let him in before I made the video. Dog's life, right? But anyway, yeah, so my good knee supported my bad knee all those years until it healed. And it did heal naturally over time. I have 90% use of my bad knee now, but my good knee imploded on me, and I don't even have an accident related to it. Like, I can't tell you I stepped in a hole, or I tripped, or I fell. None of that occurred. I went to bed feeling fine. I woke up the next morning in agony. So unless I'm sleepwalking and running marathons and, or having accidents in my sleep, and there was no bruising, no external sign of any accident. I just woke up with my knee out of place, out of joint. It was terrible agony. Maximum doses of ibuprofen, even beyond the recommended dosage of ibuprofen, did very little to dull the pain. And luckily, I discovered heat therapy was working. So hot water, especially from the shower. I was unable to get in and out of the tub, obviously. So, shower and put hot water on the knee. Later on, I started using a heating pad. And I was really in absolute agony until this morning. I kind of woke up this morning, and I can think. When you're in that kind of pain for days and days, and you're not sleeping, you can't even think. I couldn't even really think about the channel. But during this same 2-week period, let me tell you what I did get accomplished. So in the days after the interview with the viewer and before my knee blew out, I was called upon as a mission. I talk about this. I've made some statements on Facebook about this, that I received a new mission and missions. And I was multitasking these missions with making videos, with still contemplating this interview I just received, or this confession I just received, and whether I was going to talk about it or not. Of course, not naming names, being very non-specific, but still telling the story. But in those days before the ban, I managed to do a whole lot of good things for the kingdom. Thing number one, I helped a young man whose life was being derailed by a false accusation. Now, it's his fault. He basically confessed to something he didn't do to save somebody else from getting in trouble, to save someone he loved. And although I think that that's admirable in some ways, it's also not very smart. Whoever did the crime should do the time. You shouldn't be doing time for somebody else. So we're working to undo his own confession and get him out of this conviction, potential conviction. And I was able to negotiate a bond for him and get him out of jail. So I got an innocent guy out of jail. Then there's also another case where a family was in a bad situation. I won't go into detail there for their own privacy. But it ended up with CPS, well, here they call it DHS, Department of Human Services. Social worker / kid cop got involved, and, a 10-month-old baby was about to go into foster care. And I was able to intervene for them as a mouthpiece. Communication skills are very important in life, and not everybody can talk like Old Sage Wanderer. So I managed to talk them into a compromise, to give them time to find a better situation and establish themselves. And I kept the baby in the family by basically getting the grandma involved and mending some fences there. So, having said all that, I think that's a pretty good week's work. then I get hit, then I get hit by the suspension. The next thing you know, my knee is blown out. And all I can say is it's demonic backlash. So my sermon this week will be on demonic backlash. It will be on what it's like to get hit back. A lot of people think that we're triumphant without ever taking one on the chin. And that's just not how warfare works. It's just not how fights work. You get hit, you get up, and you keep fighting, right? You don't expect going into a fight that you're not going to get hit. That's a good way to lose, because then when you do get hit, you don't have a plan, you're not prepared for it. So I will say it's been a long time since I got the old 1-2 punch from the devil, but that definitely occurred over the course of the last 2 weeks, to the point where I was just running on faith. I was just running on faith that this is a trial, that this is a, it's not even a punishment from God. It's just, the devil got one past us, right? It happens. You can't expect to be in a fight and not get hit. So I definitely got hit this week, but I kept having this, I don't value money. Everyone knows that I told them no when they offered me the big deal with the devil back in the day, that I've repeatedly said no to similar offers down through time in my various careers, and that I see money as a necessary evil. But I have another view of money when it comes to this channel and my preaching and the work I do for God. What God ordains, He sustains. So one of the things I cling to through all of this pain and isolation from being shut down, from not just being able to do my work here on this channel, but this is how I express myself. This is how I talk to the world, right? This is my voice, having your voice silenced. And all of that was disheartening. But I just kept hanging on to the fact that the money kept coming in on schedule, and God had, it's like God paid me in advance for this lapse in time when I wasn't making content. And it let me know that I still had God's blessing on me, because He was still sustaining what He ordained. And so I knew I wasn't crossways with God. It's just, like I said, sometimes the devil comes after you. It's called demonic backlash. It's such a problem that it's not uncommon for exorcists, for example, to become violently ill, or to, have some kind of traumatic thing happen after an exorcism, as the devil's way of paying you back for doing the work of Jesus, which is destroying the works of the devil. When you destroy the devil's work, when you monkey up his plan, when you step in and get in his way, he has a way of paying you back. And that's part of the fight. And you got to be willing to take one you're going to take a hit sometimes. It just happens. So it's been a very tough couple of weeks. I woke up this morning with 90% of the pain gone in my knee. Nothing that a little bit of ibuprofen might, keep the inflammation down. I feel like because of the nature of this injury, it might heal faster and not take 10 years to heal. So that's a good thing. And I got my voice back here on YouTube, but I also want to share with you my intention for the future of this channel. I am tired of playing mind games with YouTube. I'm tired of the devil using them as a stick to beat me with. I'm tired of my entire voice being on this platform. And some would push me towards Rumble. The problem I have with Rumble is, A, it's preaching to the choir politically. You're not going to find anybody over there that doesn't agree with you. You're not going to change anybody's minds or open anybody's eyes on Rumble. You're just going to rah-rah the crowd. You're just a cheerleader, okay? You're a place where the believers can go to get the real scoop, which is great, but not really in line with my ministry or even my former political ambitions, which is to be a whistleblower and to shine light on things. And so Rumble's kind of out for me. And not to mention, it's not the friendliest or the quickest of the video hosts, okay? YouTube is just superior. You can get more bandwidth. You can get more... let me put it this way. You can get a better video quality, image, and experience from YouTube on less bandwidth, where Rumble really requires a good connection to run smooth. That's just my opinion on the technology there. And so Rumble, even though I have a Rumble site, I have not put anything on Rumble because, once again, it's so small. It's so isolated. And I'm trying to reach the world with some very important information, some very important spiritual guidance. and the true nature of Jesus Christ, which is the main message and the reason that I live. It's my reason for living, sharing with you that Jesus loves you. He doesn't care who you are. He loves you anyway. He's never going away. He's never going to give up on you, and his hand is always out, and there aren't any pre-requirements for you to take his hand other than to reach out and grab it. Jesus said, the kingdom of God is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. That means it's right there. All you have to do is pick it up. And so I need a platform that's wider than that. Enter Twitter Blue. So we all know that most of you aren't on Twitter. Most of you got off of Twitter because it was the greatest offender when it comes to censoring people and punishing them for their exercising their freedom of speech. And so, but Twitter got bought by Elon Musk, a champion for freedom of speech. There's a couple of limitations when you just get a Twitter channel, and it's not like a YouTube channel. When you get on Twitter, you can only post 2-minute videos or less. The default is 45 seconds, so if you don't know how to go in and stretch it to 2 minutes, you won't even get 2 minutes. However, Twitter Blue Checkmark used to be a badge of honor for people who were on the correct side of the political issues, on the left side of the spectrum, that those loyal servants were given the check mark of approval from Twitter before Elon Musk bought it. But when Elon Musk bought it, he saw it as an opportunity to turn Twitter into a subscription company and create revenue. And so for $114 and change a year, you can purchase the blue check mark, which has a lot of, there's a lot of attributes, or what's the word I'm looking for, benefits to the YouTube check mark, the Twitter check mark. But the main benefit is you get up to 1 hour uploads. And this is how Tucker Carlson was able to walk away from Fox News, start a Twitter channel, and continue his career of producing these monologues, which range, his shows range anywhere from 12-minute monologues up to full 1 hour shows that he's producing from an undisclosed location and releasing on this Twitter platform. So I'm going to use him as an example and as a trailblazer to go ahead and purchase the YouTube blue check mark. I got to quit saying YouTube. I've been on YouTube a long time, 6 years now. So yeah, I want to be able to purchase the Twitter blue and produce my videos on Twitter. I think Twitter has a wider reach. It's not known necessarily for video format, but people like Tucker Carlson are changing that impression. And in my opinion, Twitter has the capability under Elon Musk's protection to become not just the right wing or the left wing, but the worldwide replacement for both Facebook and YouTube. And so I'm going to put my energies into this emerging market, this transformed technology platform that has been taken over by Elon Musk, and I hope that it stays free. And I mean free as in freedom of speech. And I hope that whatever topic I want to talk about, I can talk freely, which I've not been able to do since the early days of this channel. Having said that, I'm being punished now for talking freely on the early days of this channel when there was no restrictions on what you talked about. There really wasn't any of this community guidelines police that went around issuing strikes. That wasn't a thing when I made these videos. They expect me to go through 1,200 videos with a fine-tooth comb and find any that might be offensive and delete them, which is something I don't have the time to do, the inclination to do, and I refuse to do. I'll just switch platforms, right? And so that's what's happening. I tried to switch over to Rumble, ran into the situation I was talking about earlier about preaching to the choir. Not to mention my religious views don't always set well with your mainstream conservative Christians who, as you know, if you watch this channel, I believe those folks are following a religion that Jesus didn't teach. They're following a religion, the modern church, of this hybrid religion of Judaism with a splash of Jesus. And it really ought to be Jesus with a splash of nothing. Jesus and pure Jesus, and that's pretty much what you get here from this channel. Some stories I'll glean for historical reasons. Sometimes I'll talk about Paul, the first Christian minister who kind of started messing this up to begin with. And, you know, if you got a problem with me criticizing Paul, then you're a Pauline, not a Christian. You worship Paul, right? He's some kind of holy saint that can't be questioned. Don't get me started preaching. This is not a preaching video. But I really believe that my message is extremely important, and it needs to get out to the masses, to the non-Christians, which is never going to happen on Rumble. And there really wasn't an alternative that worked for me. That's why I've stayed here at YouTube. Now, am I going to just stop doing YouTube videos? No, I'm going to keep working on this format and doubling up while working on the Twitter format as well. There will be some things on Twitter I can't talk about on YouTube. And the strike I just got for talking about that topic, that's a new bee in my bonnet. So I'm going to go on Twitter and say all the stuff YouTube tried to stop me from saying. I'm just going to say it over there. But sooner or later, either just out of spite for what I'm saying on Twitter, or even it could be for what I say in this video, or in any of the videos I made over the last 6 years, they're going to dredge things up and find one reason or another to take my channel down. It's probably inevitable no matter how well I behave. I'm just on the wrong side, right? So I got to get on the right side. I got to get literally on the right side. But the thing about Twitter is it was so popular, so huge, really much bigger than YouTube numbers when you look at total influence. And so those people didn't want to leave when Elon Musk got involved, and he didn't really give them a reason to, because he didn't target them. He just took away the censorship that was happening there against our political side. And I mean, I am a centrist, but I'm just right of center. I'm as much right of center as Tim Pool is left of center, okay? And so I'm really not the person that should be getting attacked, right? And it just blows me away to look on YouTube to this day and see videos being currently produced that are talking about the same thing I got a strike for, but they're not getting taken down. You know why? They're also not preaching Jesus. They're also not politically right. They're also not... You see what I'm saying? It's the totality of who I am. It's the videos I made in the past. It's the role I played in exposing Antifa and other organizations like them. And, you know, my on-the-ground reporting in places like the Virginia militia rally in 2020. Yeah. And the, you know, and the work I did on the ground in the Portland riots. And my discussion of what I knew about Antifa members that I knew personally. And so all of that has got a target on my back that's been there from the beginning on this platform. And sooner or later, they're just going to take me down. Maybe today. This video may not even get to you. I hope it does. I'm hoping that they give me enough of a break here. And don't take this video down just for being critical of the process that they use to censor people. And so having said that, I had a great relationship really with YouTube down through time. Compared to other people, I've gotten less strikes. I've tried to do the right thing. It's just, they're never going to leave any of us alone, right? And I don't know, maybe YouTube needs to have the kind of transformation that happened over at Twitter. If you're listening, Elon Musk, hostile takeover of YouTube, you're ready to do battle with Google? But at any rate, to me, the Twitter sphere at this point is the safest place for me to move towards. So please follow me on Twitter. Please go on over there and make a connection there. And you'll see that there's a lot of people there that were taken off of YouTube that you can see on Twitter. And I won't name them because sometimes just naming the people they've taken out is enough to get targeted. I'm really done being targeted. I wish I could have a better relationship with this platform, but ultimately I'm going to have to find an alternative. And I will predict that ultimately, unless they change the way they do things, time will leave YouTube in the MySpace land. That they will go where MySpace went to. So that's just not a... That's just, you know, I'm not trying to make that happen. I'm not trying to add to that. I'm just saying that's where this is headed if you ask the old, wise, gray-bearded sage. So, having said all that, I want to keep producing on YouTube. I'm coming at you with the Coffee Talk by request soon here on the topic of Paul McCartney and whether or not he was replaced, which will lead us to other celebrities who people claim were replaced, like Avril Lavigne, for instance. And we'll talk about those conspiracy theories over Coffee Talk, which is for things I don't necessarily believe, but I find interesting. So I do find that topic interesting. We are going to talk about demonic backlash in a sermon this week. And I hope to get back full blown. Now, having said that, I need your prayers. I think one of the reasons the devil got the old 1-2 on me is that some of my prayer warriors were sleeping. Not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying I'm going to be in harm's way. And I need some spiritual bodyguards. Would you commit to praying for me, praying for my protection, praying for my finances, praying for my voice not to be silenced in this world of controversy that we live in, and pray for my health and all of that? Because I very much am mostly alone in this world. I would like to thank a very special friend of mine who surprised me, because when my knee went out, they sprung to my rescue. And I had someone basically waiting on me hand and foot through this period of time, which could have been so bad I was unable to get out of my chair. I wouldn't have eaten for 3 or 4 days. If it, just whatever food I could scrape up to keep the medicine down. If it hadn't been for this friend who popped in, cooked for me, fetched for me, they were so good to me. And it renewed my faith in humankind, because I'm a loner, because I get tired of being let down by people where I do that kind of stuff for them. I help them. I bend over backwards. I help strangers, people I don't even know. I give money to people because God tells me to, that I've never even met. And yet when I have needs, I'm usually let down by friends. And so it was really nice to see that come full circle back around, right? And for me to see somebody seeding into me and helping me. And it was a just special thank you to this friend for stepping up to the plate and showing me what true friendship is all about. It's all about caring. So, but I do need your prayers. I need your continued financial support, because none of my videos on YouTube is monetized, mainly because I hate being interrupted by commercials. I hate having my sermons that are carefully crafted and delivered in one take. You may not realize that. I'm kind of in a special elite club when it comes to content creators. You'll almost never find an edit in any of these videos. You'll find me delivering fluidly and without a lot of filler words or empty space my message in a 30-minute YouTube video that is unedited and taken in a single take. And this ability to rant without editing at the proper tempo and stuff is something that's a skill. Yes, it's a gift, but it's also a skill that I've developed over the past 6 years. And I've been developing it even sooner as a preacher and a public speaker. And I'm used to coming from the situation where you're standing in front of a live audience delivering a 30-minute to 1-hour monologue without any teleprompters, without really a written script, and without any editing, because you can't edit a live performance, right? So I have the advantage over a lot of younger people who are trying to do what I do. So if you value what I do, if you think that this is a good message I'm bringing out, if you get something, anything from this, please support me financially, because like I said, I don't monetize because I hate being interrupted by commercials. Plus, that makes YouTube people look at me even closer. If they're paying me, then they have some more control. And right now I couldn't care less if I was monetized or demonetized, because I don't ask for YouTube money and I don't receive it. I'm funded by viewers like you who God has spoken to their heart, and God has told them to help me out so I can get these messages out to the people and spread the news and the truth to the masses. And so please support the YouTube channel. Please get engaged at Twitter. I am Sage Wanderer, at The Sage Wanderer is my handle on Twitter. You'll see that I've been posting up older videos there. Right now I'm limited to the 2-minute format, but I will be purchasing the longer format capabilities that come with Twitter Blue. And I'll be in both places as long as YouTube will let me. But they could take me down. They could take me down right now. You might not even see this video, right? You might just wonder whatever happened to Sage Wanderer. I hope this video gets left up so you guys get the word that if I disappear, you can get news updates over on Facebook, which is limited to 9-minute videos. That's why I didn't preach this Sunday, that and the knee. But mainly trying to squeeze 30 minutes into 9 minutes was becoming a challenge, especially while dealing with pain and issues. So I apologize to people I promised to give that sermon on Facebook to, but the Facebook limitation of 9 minutes was something I forgot about. And once I delivered a 30-minute message, only realizing that I was like remembering, oh yeah, I have to be 9 minutes. So I like to preach 30 minutes, and I'm approaching my 30-minute limit right now on this video. So once again, there's a link in the description to PayPal. You can send things to my P.O. Box, also found in the description. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on Facebook. And we're going to diversify so they can't ever do this to me again. And I will leave you with this powerful prayer. May God surround us all in his ring of fire and hedge of thorns of protection. May God send mighty angels of sufficient rank, authority, and number to drive the enemy from our midst. And then may God descend upon us. May the Holy Spirit envelop us. May God's healing power transform us emotionally, spiritually, physically, and financially until we become strong powerhouses in God, till we become untouchable by the devil. Lord, make us untouchable, protect us, and preserve us in Jesus' name. Amen. We'll see you next time.